On this episode of This is the Mackenzie Tour, PGA Tour Canada.
First on the tee from Langley, BC, Adam Cornelson.
We head to Victoria, British Columbia for the Bayview Place Island Savings Open presented by Times Colonist, where the BC contingent takes center stage.
You got guys like Sean and Corny and Clapp and Ryan Williams.
All of these guys are threats, and they're guys that I get to compete against day in and day out.
And the choices for off-course adventures are endless.
You do this thing a lot, which is instinctual, then you'll go in.
We sit down with BC native Adam Cornelson.
There's definitely a little internal clock ticking for me a little bit that, it's time to get it done, and I feel like I'm taking the steps to do that.
And then see the valuable connection between a tournament and its local charity.
We believe all children deserve to reach their full potential.
All that and more next. This is the Mackenzie Tour, PGA Tour Canada.
Got Corey Renfrew, Kevin Spooner, Thomas Hay, James Allenby, and that's just BC alone.
You got guys like Sean and Corny and Clapp and Ryan Williams, and there's just a lot of names that I feel like we're going to see on the higher level tours soon enough.
Two of those guys won last year. All of these guys are threats, and they're guys that I get to compete against day in and day out into the season leading up.
There's a movement on This is the Mackenzie Tour, PGA Tour Canada. A tidal wave of players from the province of British Columbia who are finding success each and every week.
Talent is extremely strong out here. I think Fraser Mulholland and the Vancouver Golf Tour has done a great job building a real competitive tour here in our backyard, and has brought a lot of these guys together, and we've all gradually made the jump up here.
If you know that you've got 10 or 12 of your peers who are going to be giving you their best, as well as 135 other guys in the field, I mean, you got to bring it every week.
It's great when we're seeing leaderboards and we see a bunch of our familiar faces up there, and it feels like a Vancouver Golf Tour event. Sometimes there's obviously great guys across Canada, but the camaraderie, especially out west here with the Fraser's VGT Tour, and just to be able to be good friends but want to kick each other's butt on the golf course is fun, exciting, and it pushes everyone to keep playing and practicing hard. So I think you'll see a lot of the BC guys fight for the top spots this year for sure.
So far, there have been 6 Mackenzie Tour champions from the BC contingent, a testament to the West Coast golf culture.
That's part of it, is competing against each other a little bit more locally, as well as helping each other out. The more that continues, the stronger we're going to get.
It's just nice to have that group of guys to travel and play with. I think that's why it's so much fun to play on this tour, is that BC talent pool.
I think we all want each other to succeed. We're all good friends. We travel together, we room together, we have dinners together, play practice rounds together. We all spend a lot of time together. We really enjoy each other's company, and it's great when one of us can get a W or play well that week. We're all there supporting each other.
It's incredibly special. I think we've got a fantastic camaraderie in BC golf and Canada golf. I think it's kind of maybe the bit of the hockey in us. We're team players at heart, but at the same time we tee it up on the first day and we all want to kill each other.
You're always rooting for that person. You want to beat them, but you want them to play well. You want to beat them when they're at their best. You definitely always root for the boys. You want to play the best yourself, but if you're not going to win, you're always going to root for those guys.
We've seen some of our friends that we grew up playing with make it to the PGA Tour. That motivates us, and at the same time we're paying attention, we're happy. We want all of us to be there. It would be great to have a BC top 5. It would be great to have a BC top 10, to have everybody move up with each other. A lot of people out here are going to have something to say about that, but I think we're all capable.
Canadian golf's in a great spot, and in the next few years you're going to see more and more Maple Leafs on the big tour.
Langley, BC native Adam Cornelson made his 52nd start on the Mackenzie Tour at the Bayview Place Island Savings Open presented by Times Colonist. He's coming off a season in which he just made 5 cuts in 11 starts, finishing 94th on the order of merit. But as a veteran of the Mackenzie Tour, he's focused on the task at hand.
There's definitely a little internal clock ticking for me a little bit that, it's time to get it done, and I feel like I've taken the steps to do that. I've been out here a little longer than I'd like to be, but the tour gets more competitive every year as well, and I feel like I'm doing the right things to move up the ladder, and I just got to stick to my game plan, and hopefully I put myself in the mix more often than not.
Cornelson earned exempt status through the first 4 events this season after coming in tied for 9th at the British Columbia qualifying tournament.
I'm just trying to get better every day, and it's a process to get to the web.com tour, so you got to do Wednesday before you can do Thursday.
It's a process he knows well. In the last 5 years on tour, Cornelson has only broken through the top 50 on the Order of Merit once, with a 23rd place ranking in 2014. But that only fuels his competitive fire.
There's no replacing number 1. I mean, to finish anywhere in the top 5 would be great, but you know, my goal is to win the money list. Your whole year for 2017 would be set up, and you don't have to worry about the reshuffle. I mean, number 1 is just a big difference compared to 2.
Cornelson has finished in the top 25 in each of the last 4 seasons in Victoria, with a career best finish coming in 2013. But he's looking for even better results this year.
A good start will set up your whole year. It could take some pressure off you in the middle of the year, but it's a redundant thing to say, but you know, the one shot at a time, the play every hole as best you can kind of attitude, and I think I'm going to really focus on the task at hand this year.
Adam Cornelson got off to a great start in the first round of the Bayview Place Island Savings Open presented by Times Colonist. The 28-year-old posted 8 birdies to just 2 bogeys in typically windy conditions at Uplands Golf Club.
Right from the get-go, you could see the wind. The flags were whipping pretty good, and you knew it was going to be a tough day to control your golf ball, so you know, had to lean on the short game a bit. And fortunately, when I had some looks at birdie, I rolled them in. And when you're playing in wind like this, you know, you want to make the putts when you have chances, so I'm happy.
Cornelson's 6 under 64 was his career best round in Victoria.
It's a nice start, but we all know how this tour can go. The guys can go low, so I'm just going to focus on getting rest and hitting the first tee shot tomorrow and see how it goes.
Cornelson wasn't the only one going low on day 1. His 64 was matched by 4 other players, including Shelton Washington's Chris Evans, who carded 7 birdies and 1 bogey in just his second career start on the Mackenzie Tour. Evans and Cornelson were joined by Brad Benjamin, Ben Griffin, and Jeff Rain at the top of the leaderboard. When This Is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada continues, we see how charity dollars are impacting a local foundation.
To see philanthropy integrated with the tour, I think, is really unique and pretty powerful. So for us, it gives us a total boost. It gives us a fantastic platform to talk about who we are and what we do.
And then we pick up with second round action from the Bayview Place Island Savings Open presented by Times Colonist. But first, players take in the beauty of Victoria from the water.
It's been great growing up in Toronto, not experiencing, you know, the ocean and what the West Coast has to offer. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
All that and more after the break. This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. Just across the Strait of Georgia from Vancouver is Victoria, the capital city of British Columbia, Canada. Victoria is located on the southern tip of Vancouver Island on the Pacific coast, and it is home to about 350,000 residents. 2 Mackenzie Tour players, Will McCurdy and Russell Budd, took a break from the course for a paddleboard session with Olympic gold medalist Simon Whitfield, who gave them a few pointers for the ride.
Simon is a very avid paddler, and it's so nice to see. He's found another sport.
How's it going?
How's it going, Russell?
Simon, nice to meet you.
Simon, I'm Will.
Hey, Will, nice to meet you. There you go. Which one are you taking out here?
We've been taking people out kayaking for about 34 years. Stand-up paddling is newer, maybe the last 7 or 8 years.
Just put me on the easiest one.
Is there like an electronic one you just turn on and it does all the work for you?
Yeah. Get your feet out like this and kick your knees out so you get that your glutes engaged, and get your so this would be your upper arm. So get your upper arm over so the paddle's traveling straight. It hits the water. You don't slap the water. You just let it set for a split second, and then you start engaging, and then you get it out of there. For me, paddling's all about the spacing. You know, as you get out into the straight and you just get space, time to contemplate stuff. It's great. You got it right away.
That's great.
There you go, you got it. They were great. The athleticism shone through. They picked it up so quickly. You could tell it's just getting on the boards. They had it down pat. All right, you got this. Little current right away.
Everybody has their own challenges, and when it's not something, these guys can be world class, but they get in another sport and they're new at it. And you know, to see it click and see them start to enjoy themselves and laugh and have fun, that's what it's about.
This is my favorite thing ever, paddling. Just getting out here, the peace and quiet out here.
Just the snow-capped mountains in the background, out there on a paddleboard, doesn't get much better.
Growing up in Toronto, not experiencing, the ocean and what the West Coast has to offer, this is, once in a lifetime opportunity, and to do it with a gold medalist, for my own country, it's awesome.
That was awesome.
Survived. I honestly thought there was a 50-50 shot that before I even got on the water I was going to fall in, but it was awesome. Loved it.
A few crab boats came by, and their wake was causing a little bit of difficulty, but we managed to make it back to dry land. I'd say I shot 1 under a day on the paddleboard. Made it.
This year's Bayview Place Island Savings Open, presented by Times Colonist, marks the 34th playing of the event at Uplands Golf Club in Victoria. At just over 6,400 yards, Uplands Golf Club is the shortest course on the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada schedule. But that doesn't mean it's easy.
A lot of risk reward. There's some others and there's some good scores out here, but ultimately there's great conditions, so that's what players really, really like about it.
The reward's good play. You hit in the fairway, you get rewarded. You hit on the green, you get rewarded. You hit in the rough, you're going to have a really hard time just even hitting the green. And I think guys like that. I think it's one of the hardest short courses I've ever played. It's fun, it's challenging.
The par 70 layout ranked second toughest on tour in 2015, playing to an average of .267 strokes over par.
I think you got to kind of take what it gives. You got to keep it between the tree line. Being in the fairway is important. The course is a little softer this year than it is in past, but it usually gets firm out here, so being in the fairway makes a big difference. It's usually got swirling winds, so you want to favor the middle of the greens, and the greens are usually pure, so if you can get it to 10-15 feet all day, you can put a number out.
I think I hit 4 drivers around here, and there's just no need really to hit it that far. Probably 10 holes you can't get inside 140 yards, so you just got to accept that you got to hit it right in the middle of the fairway at 150 and try to attack it with a 9-iron.
Uplands Golf Club also owned 3 of the top 5 toughest holes of the 2015 season.
I think it requires more shots. You can't just hit the high draw everywhere. Sometimes you got to hit low, you got to bring it in, land it short of the green. Sometimes you got to fly it all the way. Especially by the end of the week, it gets so firm out here that you can play it just so many different ways.
Last season, Albin Choi managed his way around Uplands Golf Club, reaching 15 under par for the week, securing a 2-stroke victory over Adam Svensson, Jason Millard, and Eugene Wong. The win was a major stepping stone up to the Web.com Tour. Choi eventually finished 6th on the order of merit, earning exemption to the final stage of Web.com Tour Q School. So far, he's earned 2 top 10s this season and ranks 54th on the Web.com Tour money list. The leaders took advantage of great course conditions at Uplands Golf Club during round 2 of the Bayview Place Island Savings Open, presented by Times Colonist. Leading the field with 78.6% of fairways hit and only 24 putts per round through 36 holes, Rockford, Illinois' Brad Benjamin finished his day with a share of the lead at 9 under. With a 3 under 67, first round leader Adam Cornelson kept pace to maintain a share of the lead heading into the weekend. He carded 4 birdies and 1 bogey on the day. Cornelson has entered the weekend inside the top 3 on the leaderboard only twice before, and went on to finish in the top 5 in both of those events. Another player gunning for the title? Jeff Rain. He finished his round with a 2 under 68 to climb within 1 stroke of the lead. After the break, a local charity helps youth development programs from dollars generated at the Bayview Place Island Savings Open, presented by Times Colonist.
We're really excited about getting involved with youth mental health, and so this money is going to be an injection into a new project that's all about supporting youth.
And then we find out who makes a move on moving day at Uplands Golf Club.
I like chasing. I don't have to sleep on the lead, so I can come out tomorrow and fire.
This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. Behind every event on the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada is a great cause. The Children's Health Foundation of Vancouver Island is the beneficiary of charitable dollars raised during this year's Bayview Place Island Savings Open, presented by Times Colonist.
To see philanthropy integrated with the tour, I think, is really unique and pretty powerful. So for us, it gives us a total boost. It gives us a fantastic platform to talk about who we are and what we do.
The Children's Health Foundation of Vancouver Island raises funds to remove barriers and create opportunities that ensure children and families have access to the support they need. And this new partnership is a key component in that mission.
We're really excited about getting involved with youth mental health, and so this money is going to be an injection into a new project that's all about supporting youth, because we know mental health is a common challenge in our society, and children and youth often struggle to find the services that they need. So we're going to take a stand for that, and this money is directly going to help a project that we're launching soon.
Whether a child struggles with physical or developmental disabilities or other health challenges, Children's Health Foundation is a place to find support.
We believe all children deserve to reach their full potential, and not all kids travel that journey easily. So we want to be able to lift those kids up that need an extra bit of help.
A beautiful Victoria day at Uplands Golf Club greeted the field during the third round of the Bayview Place Island Savings Open presented by Times Colonist, and players came out firing. Although we started the day tied for the lead, Adam Cornelson surged ahead of the pack with a 6 under 64 on moving day.
Good rip, attaboy.
Cornelson started slowly, going 1 over in his first 5 holes. But he bounced back with 3 birdies and an eagle on holes 6 through 10 to take control of the lead. With his cousin on the bag, Cornelson closed with 3 more birdies down the stretch to take a 3-stroke lead over Jeff Rain.
We were really committed to playing each shot as focused as we could. We were a good team out there today and just kept doing our thing. It's going to be a long day, and I'm prepared for it. Go after it one shot at a time.
His 195 stroke total through 3 rounds tied the lowest first 54-hole total of the PGA Tour era on the Mackenzie Tour, matching Brock Mackenzie in 2014 and Ryan Williams in 2015, both at the ATB Financial Classic. In his 6th season on the Mackenzie Tour, Cornelson played his way into the 54-hole lead for the first time in his career.
That's what we prepare for. If you want to make the PGA Tour, you're going to have to do a lot of this, so I'm just going to try and keep doing what I'm doing, as repetitive as it sounds. That's the way it is.
Jeff Rain made his move in the 3rd round as well, with a 4 under 66. The 27-year-old posted 7 birdies and 3 bogeys to stay within striking distance of Cornelson.
I like chasing. I don't have to sleep on the lead, so I can come out tomorrow and fire and put a little pressure. It's definitely where I want to be. Obviously, anytime you're in a tournament, you want to win, so having a chance to do that is where you want to be every week.
Edmonton, Oklahoma's Taylor Moore climbed into solo 3rd, while BC's Sean Harlington fell back into a tie for 4th with a 1 over 71. And 36-hole co-leader Brad Benjamin fell out of contention with a 3 over 73. Coming up next, we see who emerges victorious in Victoria. Will Adam Cornelson hold on for his first ever Mackenzie Tour title? Or will a challenger make a final round run? Find out when This Is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada returns. This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. It was a record-setting final round at the Bayview Place Island Savings Open presented by Times Colonist, as crowds gathered to see Langley, BC's Adam Cornelson contend for the title. And what a Sunday showing it was. Starting the day with a 3-shot lead over Sapolo, Texas's Jeff Rain, Cornelson took control of the tournament early and never looked back. With 2 birdies and an eagle in the first 7 holes, his lead swelled to as many as 6 strokes before the turn. But he knew he had to keep his foot on the gas.
I've seen leads dwindle. I've been in it myself and I've failed, and I slept on that last night, that, I learned a lot from those failures that it helped me a lot today.
The University of New Orleans grad added birdies at 12 and 14, and then set the new PGA Tour era scoring record on the Mackenzie Tour in dramatic fashion. Finishing the week with a 20 under par 260 total, thanks to this chip-in birdie on the 72nd hole.
I was just waiting for the holes to run out. I wasn't thinking about hitting a number. I wasn't thinking about breaking a record. I just the ball started going in, so it was nice to see. It was the best week of my golfing life, and The support this city and this crowd and the volunteers showed me, it was chilling. I was trying not to show it, but I've never felt support like that in my life, and it gave me so much energy to continue on. It was phenomenal.
Cornelson also matched the largest margin of victory in Mackenzie Tour history, finishing 5 strokes ahead of former All-American Taylor Moore, who claimed solo second in his professional debut, while his playing partner Jeff Rain finished with a solid birdie on 18 to clinch solo third. The win vaults Cornelson up into the 2nd spot on the order of merit. Jeff Rain moves into the 5 with his top 10 finish in Victoria. Despite missing this event for US Open qualifying, Tyler McCumber holds his position in the 5, tied with 22-year-old rookie Taylor Moore in the 3rd position. Cornelson takes the first step on the path to the PGA Tour with his victory, while Dan McCarthy maintains a slight edge thanks to his victory in Vancouver and a T6 in Victoria. Leading a pack of 4 BC boys in the top 10, Cornelson earned the Freedom 55 Financial Canadian Player of the Week honors, becoming the 7th player from British Columbia to win on the Mackenzie Tour, many of whom were there to congratulate him for adding one more name to that list.
I see Sean's name on the board, and Thomas Hay and Clapper. We play a lot together on our downtime, and the best guys I know, and I wouldn't trade them for the world. I've always felt like if and when I was going to win, it was going to be this tournament. It suits my eyes so good. I love the city so much. Victoria and me get along.
Join us next week as the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada heads to Kelowna for a new event, the Golf BC Championship. The field includes 13 British Columbians and 5 champions from the 2015-2016 season. For all the latest news, highlights, and live scoring from Gallagher's Canyon Golf and Country Club, log on to PGATour.com.